Hi everybody in EDU 131. This is part 2 of the video. Don't know why it cut off, but thank you for letting me know that that did happen. So sorry for 2 videos for this module, but I am going to back up at this point and finish going over the newsletter assignment that got cut off. The first video leaves off right around here where we're talking about 5, 6, and 7, and exactly it cuts off where I talk about how those items relate to number 8. So as you recall from the previous video, I was telling you what needed to be included: upcoming class events, upcoming areas of studies, and that leads into what families could be doing with children at home to reinforce what's going on in the classroom. And for some families, they may be real go-getters. They don't need that tip. They have lots of creative ideas on their own, but others could use a little helpful hint. And that number 8, by the way, could be something like going to visit something local in our community that would back up your learning. It might be a website. It might even be a TV show that would be relevant on educational TV. So it could be any number of things. It might be a recipe that you could have families make at home with the children that would either relate maybe to the math or the science or the health lesson, whatever you're doing. So just anything, again, that would help back up your lessons in the home environment. The next thing, number 9, the newsletter must be at least 1 full page, but maybe longer. Again, don't tamper with your text size in a bunch of crazy ways to make that happen. Just know that that's where you're going with. Don't stretch. Instead, if you have a little bit of extra space, you can always add a graphic or something, but you want to keep your text nice and concise and consistent throughout the entire newsletter. The next item there is about the spelling and grammar. And funny because I see a mistake right there that I just fixed. But anyways, you want to be really careful of your spelling and grammar for the newsletter. This is parents' opportunity to see you as a professional. If there are a lot of spelling and grammar mistakes, they may really start to question your ability to teach their children spelling and grammar. So please be aware of that and know that even though we don't like to think it, that you will be judged according to your writing. Make sure too that you try to stick to relatively easy language, so that if we have families who may not have English as their home language, that we're not using slang or a lot of professional jargon that might throw them off or be harder for them to interpret or run through a translator if they choose to have it translated that way. So those are the last of the requirements for it. And then the other thing that got cut off was the rubric. So I want to jump back over to the rubric and make sure that you understand how to read this rubric and how to utilize it so that you can get the maximum score. So you can see on the far right over here where I'm going over it with the mouse, that's the column you want to stay away from. That's the one that doesn't have any points to it. It says not met up at the top, which means for whatever the criteria is right here, you're going to either be not met, needs improvement, meets improvement, or exceeds expectation. If you're shooting for 100 or an A, you want to stay in the exceeds expectation column. If you're happy with a B, you beat a B or C, that's meets expectation. And then a needs improvement is going to be a D, and the not met is going to be like an F. So you can pretty much go through and see exactly how I'm going to grade the newsletter. So if you wanted the full possible points for this item about the template of approved software, you'll make sure you've done everything under the exceeds expectation column. Same thing here for use of graphics. If you want full points, 9 to 10 points, you'll need to do everything under this exceeds expectation columns. This continues on down through all of the different elements that I'll be grading. The very things we just went over in the assignment overview, they should all look really, really similar. So like the last thing I just went over was readability. Again, newsletter, is extremely easy to read for families, including those whose first language may not be English. It's what we just talked about. So spelling and grammar, we had talked about that right before then. So you could see everything from that list in the overview shows up here in the grading rubric. and then it is spelled out very explicitly what exactly you have to get the full credit for each item. So hopefully this will help guide your work and help you secure your 100% A on this assignment. As always, if you have any questions or need any help, I would be glad to help you with the assignment, get started, look over and let you know if you're on the right track, whatever you need. Also, if you want to use software other than a Microsoft Office software, I'm not saying that you can't, but I would like to know about it first so that I can make sure that it has the elements that will help you be successful. So if you'll just send me the name and a link to it, I'll be glad to look at that for you. So again, I look forward to seeing all of your Module 3 work, but your newsletter in particular. If you have any questions about the assignments or this newsletter, please let me know and I'll be glad to help you. Take care. Bye.